Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Tigers Baseball Podcast. This episode being recorded on Sunday, June 1st, 2025. Tigers fresh off their 1-0 win over the Kansas City Royals, a series win for the Tigers again. They've won 14 of 18 series since being swept by the Dodgers. Their only series losses coming to Cleveland, Texas, Houston, and Milwaukee. So, considering who they've lost series to, it's a pretty big deal. So, looking at this team, they're going to get better before they get worse, and here's why. The injury report is pretty decent. Matt Vierling had a setback on Monday. He reported soreness in his right shoulder. They put him on the 10-day IL for precautionary reasons. It's got to be a little longer than that, probably. They're saying right shoulder inflammation. They didn't say where, but shoulders are tough because there's so much complex stuff that goes on in that shoulder, and you may not completely heal from one injury, but you want to be able to come back, and you can do things by just changing technique a little bit and altering things just a little bit, and it feels good and everything seems to be working okay. But what you're doing is actually putting more stress on another part of the shoulder that's not used to being stressed, and then now you've got more shoulder soreness. And so this could be a recurring thing all season for Vierling, and I hope not, because he's a big piece in that clubhouse. He's a good leader in the clubhouse, and he'll be missed as a both on and off the field presence for this team. But we'll see where it goes, and we'll see how things go. Parker Meadows is just destroying AAA in his rehab assignment. He's ready to come off the injured list, and I think it's more of a game situation issue for him. They want to see him actually being throwing to bases in competition, like trying to throw to a base where there's a runner coming into second, or throwing to the right base if there's a runner. If there's a runner on first, throwing to second or hitting the cutoff man or whatever. So I think that's what they're looking for him right now, because the bat certainly is there and the defense always plays. They just want to make sure that his arm is where it's supposed to be. Wenceel Perez came back. He is with the big club right now. But Reese Olson is playing catch. He's doing well. He threw a bullpen over the weekend in Kansas City. No word on what happened there. It might have been yesterday. I missed yesterday's game. I was involved in doing a project that needed my attention, and so I was not able to listen to yesterday's game. And I'm glad I didn't, because the Tigers lost yesterday 1-0. They won today 1-0, outscoring Kansas City in total 8-6. In kidding, it's a series win, winning 2 out of 3. When you score 7 runs on the first game and only 1 run in the third game, you better have a good pitching performance throughout the entire series, and they pretty much did. Tyler Holton looked good today. He looks like he's getting back on track. Chase Lee has been a really pleasant surprise in that pen. The right-handed side armor doesn't throw very hard, but he does just enough to keep right-handers off balance. And today he's recorded 2 outs against lefties, which was pretty impressive. He's working on trying to get left-handers out, and the work that he's doing seems to be paying off. So that's a good thing. The bullpen seems to have reset, and that's good news. Jeffrey Rainey, of course, writing in last week after last week's episode when I talked about the pen and the situation that the pen was in, and he said, "Don't I know about bullpen meltdowns or something like that?" And if you're a baseball fan for long enough, your team will have a bullpen that just absolutely just self-destructs for a certain amount of time in a season. Whether the key is whether they can get it back on track or whether they've just never had it to begin with. So so that's the situation there, but it does seem like they've gotten themselves back on track, and that's a good thing for the Tigers. It's a bad thing for everybody else, but you know what? I don't care about everybody else. I just care about my boys in Detroit. So it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. I'm going to comment on this, and I'm admittedly going to come at this without much knowledge. Okay. So apparently there was, it sounds to me like it was media generated controversy around Tarik Skubal getting pulled after the 7th inning after just 90 pitches yesterday. Now, here's what you guys need to realize. For Tarik Skubal to go 7 scoreless innings against Kansas City, the team that has been one of the most difficult teams for him to face in his brief time in the majors because of how much contact they make and how little they strike out. For him, even at 90 pitches through 7 innings against the Kansas City Royals is like 110 pitches and through 9 against anybody else. It's a tough squad to face. And honestly, I think AJ Hinch did the right thing. Look, AJ Hinch is thinking about October, and with your team having a 39-21 record through the first 60 games of the year, the best record in baseball at the beginning of June, having just won 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7 now, I don't see that as a problem. We just covered they're 14-4 in their last 18 series. Well, let me point out who some of these wins have been against. Okay. Let's think about this now. 14-4 in their last 18 series. That covers Kansas City twice, the Yankees, the Red Sox. They swept the Red Sox, let's not forget. The Giants, who they just swept this week. The Padres. They lost a series to Cleveland, but it was a close series. Okay, you can throw Colorado in there, and they swept Colorado, and you can throw LA in there, the Angels, and that, but I mean that was a tough series. Not a tough series, but that was that's a team that's it's not, let's just put it this way, they're not playing that well. But Seattle's in first place in their division, folks, and they took 2 out of 3 in Seattle from Seattle after being swept by the Dodgers. Okay? Yeah, they played the White Sox. Yeah, they played the Rockies. Yeah, they've played the Angels. But during this 14-series stretch, they've played the Mariners, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Giants, the Padres, and they've won those series. So, and the Royals twice, and the Orioles. Now the Orioles are down, and they swept the Orioles, and it wasn't. I mean, it was pretty if you're a Tigers fan. It wasn't pretty if you're an Orioles fan. But that was a 90-win team from last year. So I think if AJ Hinch wants to think about October and trying to keep Skubal fresh for the stretch run and the playoffs at this point in the year, with the way the team is playing, there's no reason for him not to. They've got a 6-game lead in the Central Division, folks. That's after dropping 3 of 4 to Cleveland. So let's oh yeah, that's another series win that Detroit has. Minnesota. So let's pump the brakes here if people are sitting there going, oh, AJ Hinch shouldn't have pulled him after 7, blah, 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 blah. AJ Hinch isn't thinking about Skubal's stats right now. AJ Hinch is thinking about having Skubal ready in October. And that's what winning managers do. So I don't have a problem with this. I really don't. I don't know why the media does, but I mean, I do because they want to see him pitch. He's a story every time he pitches. But let's be realistic here, guys. Let's think about the big picture, because AJ Hinch certainly is. Tigers are in the middle of a 10-game stretch right now. They've finished 3 against Kansas City to date. Starting tomorrow, they've got a 4-game series in Chicago. This is the second year in a row that they've had 4 in Chicago. Then they come home and play the Cubs for 3. So they'll have a little vacation Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then they'll come home and play the Cubs. And the Cubs are a good squad. Oh, yeah, that's another series Detroit won. St. Louis. See, I'm thinking of all these things because of who the Tigers have played and who they're going to play. This is my point. This is a good squad, folks. And AJ Hinch should be thinking about October now. And planning for October. And planning for the days when things are a little bit difficult. The series against Chicago is going to be tough. The White Sox, because the White Sox aren't very good, and so it's going to be hard to match it's going to be hard to not. They will match Detroit's intensity, and if Detroit tries to, unless Detroit tries to throttle it down because it's the White Sox and they're not a very good team, that's when things could get dicey for the Tigers. Now, with all that being said, I don't see that being a problem. Detroit took it to Colorado and they took it to LA. And those teams are pretty hapless as well. So I don't think they're going to have a problem with the White Sox. Where the real tough test is going to be is next weekend against the Cubs. That's the 6th, 7th, and 8th, the homestand, if you want to call it that. Basically, it's a run to the laundromat. It's, I need to wash some clothes. Let's get that done and then get back out on the road and get back at it. But then they got a short road trip and they come home for 3 against the Reds, including a Ludacris concert. So there you go. I want to thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Ring that bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new podcast. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can. TigersBaseballPodcast@gmail.com, at Podcast Tigers on Twitter, at TBPodcast, at tweezcake.social. On Mastodon, that's TBPodcast, at TWEESEcake.social. And we will definitely catch up with you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening. Go Tigers.